Right, you on live right now. You live.
Say something. He was talking, I think giving him back.
Our national black and gold is the requirement for you to adhere to. To make this easier, you do not have to be knowledge before. Obviously, you're going to go to the chapter. So if you need to support the things that I would say, the more participation you have at the national level, the better it is for the chapter. We already have Dr. Fletcher, on the board, Dr. Joy King, who also national chair, we have the relation, Dr. Lucas, and Dr. also saying. So we'll also be
Everybody that is connected with all of them, everybody is outside. I speak connected with everybody, so they are not here for any. So I want you to feel that you're talking to everybody. So the Lord wants to talk about how we can connect them, what can happen. I'm saying everybody's listening, hearing everything that's going on. Everybody doing their thing, including our team, Shay, Chaplain, and everybody
Thank you, Grace. That is to preach the case for Mr. Alexander B. Cummings Jr. How qualified he is to resuscitate the Liberian County and restore some dignity to Livingston and Liberia. We are aware that his own qualification sets him up to be the country that will deliver Liberia. And gathered here tonight, that's why we are discussing. That's why we are our fellow community and neighborhood. The ANC Global is not just only based in Philadelphia or Pennsylvania. They have branches in London. They have branches in Australia, Canada, and Ghana, Liberia. It is the sole and only coordinating branch of the ANC Liberia. This organization was launched formally in Georgia, sometime before, along with ABC, and then the chairman, and then the secretary general of the party in Liberia represented. So obviously, the ANC Global is the core of international affairs for ANC Liberia. We all are aware that Liberia needs a stronger political party. Not only the political party, but we are in the business of building an institution. Even if Mr. Cummings leaves tomorrow, we'll still have a political structure in place. And we given our own experiences, many political parties have felt the moment is still not very long, or the president leaves the party, they fail. The reason is they only built the political party, but not an institution. Remain in function. That is why we have an if Liberia progress, we will need a structure. We need a sound foundation. Our country continue to go backward because we are still doing the same thing over and over. And in our own world, Mr. Cummings, insanity. The meaning for that is doing the same thing over and over and expecting different results. So we have serious like insanity going on in Liberia. The only way this can change is for us to have a new breed, a new ideology, a new mentality towards development, towards providing social justice and a participatory democratic system for the Liberian people. And the only way this can come is for us to have a new breed. And in my own opinion, I believe Mr. Cummings is the best person to do this. That's why we have gathered to start building the support base and going forward. And I believe all of our concerted efforts Cummings will be the next president of Liberia. Is there more, anybody have anything?
I could just add to what you said. So the reason he is in the alternative, that alternative is an alternative approach to our situation in the country. We need a new way of looking at the same old thing and a new approach to solving the problem. So alternative is the right catchword. I'd say it should be the word of the day, it should be the word of the month, the word of the year that we can carry forward. Just a new approach, looking at the same old problems and trying to fix it. Now in Liberia, we are not single issue voters. Like here, the man can dig a heel in for abortion, he can dig a heel in for gun control or something else. Liberia, there is no single issue voting there. People want to be able to have a job, make some money, send their kids to school, and live a decent life, quiet life. I just came back from there. The amount of people that are selling, the sellers are way more than the buyers. As a result, nobody moves goods and services. People go to sell. The buy this thing maybe 13, 21,000 Liberian dollar, it stays with them. Inside, especially perishable goods. They can't push it. The sellers are more than the buyers. And the only way we can alleviate that is to have something like economic stimulus package that will get people to work right away. Right away. If the government can come up with something that can give people at least 6 months to a year job readiness program, get you to work. Those shovel ready program, it will decrease some of the sellers. You will have more money circulating and you will see some activity going on. But right now it is very scary. Very scary in the country. Thank you.
Yes, I will just add, in addition to what Fulton said and said, because like I said earlier that I was in Liberia last year and I watched what was going on. Fulton rightly said there is no market. And so as a result, you can't sell anything. And that we need an alternative to what has been happening in Liberia. And I also believe that ABC has the answer, because we have been doing the same things since I can remember. And I'm talking about, I was born in the Tubman era, and since then, well, things are better than back then. Things are worse now. So that's why I decided to officially join the ANC, because Fulton said that's an alternative. That's a new direction. That's trying to do something different than one. Therefore, that's why we all are here, because we believe that Alexander Cummings can do it. Thank you.
Few days ago, even though somebody spoke of the Liberian economy, the economy has carried the last rate was Senator Darrell Dillon, who is one of the newest senators in Liberia. They spoke about dual citizenship. And he said that those of us living here in the, I hate to use that word diaspora, but I have to. Can only hold position like deputy minister below. I mean, I'm talking about the educated people, I'm talking about myself in particular. What is ANC going to do to try to, I mean, what is the position on that? Because the bill is already passed. You can't be, if you live, whatever your qualification, but if you wanted to be chief justice, you can't be chief justice. You can't be senator. If that is the case, because if you go back to this, you gotta listen to the VOT very clearly. If you talk about only the deputy minister, then you can't be, then it will be the position of a representative and senatorial position. So I want, as a chairman, I want you to please throw light on that.
Okay, you want to elaborate on that first? Because my concern is just like different.
My concern is different.
What was the question?
Okay, the question was on the issue of dual citizenship.
Okay.
Like some of us are based in America, and perhaps we got like American U.S. citizenship, and we were born in Liberia, and we came back home. So it just wanted clarity from you, so you can elaborate.
Because personally, it's a law now in Liberia that if you were naturalized Liberian citizen, you get hold position. But there are threshold when it comes to that. There are limit. Let me put it that way. There are limit of the position that you can hold. If you were a lawyer and you qualify to become a chief justice, you can't be chief justice. You can only be deputy minister, from deputy minister going down to be director or something. Those are the positions that those are the people who are nationalized. So I want to encourage you because those kind of positions have to be in sync with other political parties that are part of the political force in the country. That's why I wanted to hear your view on that here.
Yeah, David, with my understanding, the bill passed for referendum.
Right.
Okay, cool.
It is not yet a law of the land.
Right.
It's a bill to go for referendum,
Right.
which will be the next election with 2020.
Right.
So the Liberia will decide whether that law becomes law of the land or not.
Okay.
But the thing is, it's not to do. To know how it works, so I like the therapy.
So
about
the party line, what are we doing?
the position of the ANC.
Oh, okay, that's it. So you want to say something on that line?
With regards to that what we need to do, I'm speaking in my capacity, in my individual capacity, not for EFC. But I think what I believe is that though it has passed both houses and the Senate, what we need to do is to educate the Liberian people about the bill of when we go to referendum. Look, we need to do the work to educate the people what it entails, what it will cost, because you can't send your sons and daughters out there to work for or to learn and come back. They cannot be citizens to your country.
Right.
So we just have to settle together. To keep just as we're going to be running campaign, we need to educate the Liberian people, the good and the bad, about this particular issue. I think we should not lose too much sleep over that. Now just sleep. No matter what it is, we're not going to just want to shove everything down there. So there are people that will definitely ask you like what about like we mean to that country? That's my personal opinion. Manny?
Okay. Let me scratch my point. Okay, let me talk.
Pass it on to you.
Yeah, you can talk. Hey man, it's vocal. You don't want to talk to me. Okay, like I said earlier, I'm Eric Oko Lewis. One issue I always say to people when it comes to ANC here in this gallery, you know, if you look at our country history, we build a political party on an individual. But this time around, that's why I always, when I talk on the phone, I say, look, we want to make ANC to be a political institution. That is to say, if Edison Cummings is not in the picture tomorrow, we can raise another standard bearer because ANC is a political institution, not a political party. If for some of us like stay long in like you know like the NTPL, when the late Samato left, NTPL died down. Today there is no more NTPL. We also heard of Chad State Party, the MPP. It was circling around the President Taylor. He's not in the picture. That momentum had died also. The Unity Party is the same thing. So, as we are gathered here today as people and we are working hard, that's what I said, when I get into something, I come with my all in all. My time, my effort, and even if it costs me money, I'm willing to spend to see us building a political institution, not a political party. So, French police, I want us to grab the same concept to build a political institution so that tomorrow, when we make Edison Akume the president of Liberia, we will also raise another person to be in the driver's seat. Now, after Edison Akume, ANC is no more. Thank you. You gotta talk smart. It makes so vocal.
Thank you. Hello, everybody. Sorry I arrived late, but just to make a few comments on the issue at hand. Whatever is now pending a vote in the referendum is discriminatory law. And we have to fight to disassemble or deconstruct that law. It takes work. You know, as much as we don't like the law because we're in the diaspora, and we are aware of the financial influence that we have in Liberia for people in the diaspora. So So we have to do the work to let our people know. It's not something that is going to happen because we push it so. We have to talk to other people. We have to talk to one another in the diaspora. We have to be vocal about this discriminatory law. Even our own people are discriminating against us now, simply because we were fortunate to, I mean, we are glorified refugees, if you want to put it that way. And the fact that our own people will discriminate against us now, we have to let our people know that if that country wants to develop, they have to be open to allowing diaspora Liberians. And I don't see how, with a vote in the legislature, you can disenfranchise a whole group of people who are out of the country. I can't even imagine that happening, but it is what is happening. So we need to do the work, we need to advocate, we need to talk to one another, we need to raise funds, and we need to develop the political influence and let the lawmakers know that we're capable of putting somebody there who is more diaspora friendly if you decide that you want to go this route. Thank you.
This way. Okay, okay.
I just want to make one last comment before. There is no way you can judge me or say that I am less of a Liberian just because I took on another citizenship to give myself more solid ground for a better job, to help family members in Liberia, or to even bring our other family members that were trapped during the war. So you can't say that I'll be less patriotic than somebody there. Because when I read that stuff in the paper, I'm like, they gotta be joking. But one senator made a striking remark that I want to share. Senator from Kidman County said, once Liberian, always a Liberian. Yeah. But I guess the senator from Sano, TSG and others decided to just super aside. Because it was TSG's idea and his argument that you cannot run for no public office, you are just limited because you are dual citizenship. That's a law. People will challenge you. So maybe we need to put a group together, irrespective of political parties, and let that group go and speak to the August body and say, wait a minute, prove that a Liberian with dual citizenship would be a risk to this country. Prove it. Because if you could allow me to only be deputy minister, then there's no risk there. There's no risk. How far is deputy minister from a minister? Just one little beat of turn away, right? So if you can't prove that somebody with dual citizenship will be a risk, then why are you limiting it? Why? That's a question they need to answer, and we all need to have the concerted effort to get them to answer that question. They have to answer that. Before they go to referendum this thing, they need to ask themselves. So we'll start with TSG and the other people who are supporting this idea, a formal letter asking them to prove. Give us some reasons why a dual citizenship Liberian would have such limited role in the economic situation of this country. Give us that reason. Thank you.
Can I say something? Yeah. I have a different perspective on this whole thing. And I believe that it comes from two sides. There are two sides. In fact, three sides to everything. We Liberians, those of us in the diaspora, we are angry for that, for the new bill. Yes, I mean, we have every right to be angry. But they have every right to say what they are saying in that bill. I live in Liberia. I used to visit visit here, live, stay, go back home. But, like I say, and I will still say, Liberians in the diaspora shot themselves in the legs. There were times that how many Liberians that went to diaspora Liberians that went in our jobs? What good did they do for the Liberian people? First of all, they stole. I'm being frank. They stole. Yes, it's true. I know a couple, I can name them one by one. People that I have worked with, they can't even afford 20 hours to go home. Instead of helping our people, they're suffering. They look up to you. You should set an example for them. The first thing you do, you steal a big house here in the States. You send all the children here to go to school. Their children is left uneducated. So they are right too. Now we have to prove to them that we are better than that. And until that time we do that, they won't be against Liberians in the diaspora. The ball is in our court. We can prove to them that we are better. And once we can prove to them that we are better, trust me, the way will be clear. But almost every Liberian that leaves from here and go to Liberia, all they go for a government job. And once they get government job, they start stealing. Since I've been here, I've seen people can't even afford their rent. They leave from here, they go to Liberia, next thing they go buy a big house. And they pass for you, they give you $20. So that's that. The ball is up to us. We have to prove to them that we are better than that. Let them talk. If we know we are better, we can fight it. But to get angry, I don't think it should. They have a reason to say what they are saying. They have a reason because we didn't prove to them that we are better. We proved to them that we are worst. So it's up to us to make our case and prove them wrong. So the challenge is up to us. We should accept the challenge or we should let it go. Let's prove to them that we are better than who they say we are. Thank you. That's my personal view.
First of all, this is my first time coming to this meeting. I'm not into politics, but I feel as Liberians, I've been here since 1993. But I feel as, and I haven't been back to Liberia. I still live there. But sometimes it's so discouraging when you hear news from back home. And to me, we all have to stand up for something else. Liberia will walk on nothing. Liberia will not go anywhere. But however, I personally feel that we need a leader that have that country at heart. That's the only way that country gonna go anywhere. Look at Ghana, look at Liberia, and look at Ghana and Nigeria and all of that. And even Sierra Leone, they've been through civil war like us. But see how far they are going because the leaders take that country at heart. It breaks my heart to see some of us in here. I mean, my supporter at the time, Thomas Bigard, he's the only one that can, deliver Nigeria for the city. He's the most competent person at this time. But however, some of y'all that in here that gonna run for whatever position when y'all, just in case y'all win, y'all need to put the country first and stop stealing. Because to me, it's horrible. You're making so much, $15,000 a month, and people that better making $500. I mean, it's embarrassing. I think that the first thing they need to do is cut the pay. There's a sacrifice you gotta make for your country. You cut your pay and then we will know you gotta grow hard. But not for you all to be making $15,000 a month and you're getting, people come from there, they got gas car, they got car, they got do all of that. And you're walking by and you see people suffering. Your heart, it speaks a lot about who you are. When you go past, you got everything, but when you see a poor person in the street, don't they body people? You understand? I mean, we're ready, and it breaks my heart that our country is like that. But it's time for our leaders. You have to put that country up, first, or else we will always go through this. And I'm hoping that Alexander Cummings will be the one to do it. Make that change. I mean, I can say I will never go back to Liberia because I've been here for over since '93, but I still have siblings there. That's where my soul is. But our leaders, they have to do something. You're running for all these positions, but you're not ready to sacrifice for the country. The minute you get there, that she was saying, they start stealing. They will not even develop the country. They will bring the money abroad to start lavishing, having 2 or 3 girlfriends flying all over the place. And it hurts us that we supported you to get there, but then you're not doing what the foundation, what you guys were elected into the positions you guys have. I mean, we really need to do good to our own country, not nobody else's. Yeah, we have the crab mentality that we don't let to see each other going further, but again, it's because our own attitude that got us going there. Because I'm not going to be supporting you on $10 or $20, and then you driving flashy car, you passing by people that can barely have food to eat. I mean, I'm really begging you that you need to really be that voice for the Nigerian people. And what he said was true. We're supposed to be an institution. Now when this person goes there, everything is there. Look in America, they got Democrat and Republican. The party is sorted because you know what? They build that foundation. So, I mean, again, I keep joining this party because I believe that when there is an outcome, can liberate Nigeria. But I don't want to be a part of a party that when you get your big government job in Nigeria, then you forget the people that will support you and you're flashy. You're living this boring life. It's ridiculous. You need to work on it. I can work in this country and provide for myself, but my siblings, they're back there. And you forget to know that when we make sure that we empowering them back home, it makes everyone all happy because then I don't have to put any money because you're providing for them. But if all of y'all stealing and bringing the money over here, what are you guys doing for them back there? What are we doing? It's ridiculous. I mean, I'm so hurt. But what has been going on in Liberia all this since those times? Everybody else that came stole. And they need to call all of them paycheck. That's how I look at it. And then you take that money and you develop the country. Look at Ghana, look at Nigeria, look at Sierra Leone. I mean, all of them just come, everybody just anxious to go to Liberia, to go and steal. It's ridiculous. You just really need to do something.
Okay, go ahead for it.
Okay, all right, just quickly, let me just introduce this. All right, now that we are live, we want us to that we discuss the issue about the dual citizenship, but more likely, let us just take a reason why we think Alexander Cummings is the best person, and why you think he can lead Liberia. Let's get our personal view because we are having a bigger platform. There's a reason why we have gathered, and we are much more focused on that reason. And later on, we'll be coming back to discuss our own internal situation. So right now, I want us to have a discussion focusing on the principle of why we think it's better. What can we do? What are some of the things? Everything before Liberia, and we hear the news from back home, and those are the reasons. That's the reason why we are here. That's the person who lead let's start from here. Many now Q&A person who will come back. There's a that will come out and answer.
Okay. Ladies,
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, we have food and drinks over here on sale. Food is $10. Soup, all food back, the color and whatever it is, we'll have here. Tuna, here, drinks over there, 2 for $5. So feel free.
thank you, gentlemen. Yes, Philip McDavis. you see, Liberian city doesn't refer to only Liberian community in the diaspora. They have been there from the beginning. Okay, but we know it. Everybody individual different. Our question against the idea that we don't go into Liberia going to take position.
I'll tell you that.
It have been in the early selling government. Matter of fact, I was early selling. I used to go around with my friends. But because I wanted to rich overnight, I don't like that idea. My friend who knows this, they were attached to that. But now in Liberia, those in power now, they don't come from Liberia, America. They're from Europe. They got born in Liberia, stay in Liberia, been in Liberia. But yet they stay in the position to get a lot of horses to buy new horses. So Liberian city is a pain in our past, our part of us. So we need to stop it, that's true. But we know the individuals are going to go there and steal it. So we should capitalize on every individual that goes to steal. So people have good have a Liberia. So we have seen what's going on in Liberia, don't like the idea, so they want to pretend hurry up what's going on in Liberia. Like at the time coming. He always said, if you want to get rich in Liberia, don't follow me. And most of that behind Mr. Cummings from the beginning is belief in him that when he take office or he become president of the Republic of Liberia, Liberia will be better off than what it is now. So we believe that his team will believe in him. So we're going after him because we want to see Liberia in a better stage. Look at we're talking about the law they passed in Liberia on referendum. That law is discriminatory, that's true. Nigeria asking the diasporas, begging the diaspora to go by Nigeria to work because the diaspora had a human capacity that we don't have in Liberia. That's why Liberia don't go anywhere because what? We always look at diaspora to be enemy of Liberia because we are defensive. We are defensive. So Mr. Cummings is a guy that can lead Liberia because he believes that we need Liberia to move forward. So we all got to come together. Once we are following Mr. Cummings, we had to follow his methodology is we had to do what he asked us to do. Don't steal, go to Liberia and work in the interest of the Liberian people. That's all we need to do. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, if you are not even in the meeting tonight, wherever you are, you have an opportunity to ask a question. All members of ANC Global, ANC Liberia, you have an opportunity to ask a question though you are not in the meeting tonight. I am Samuel E. Greaves, the chairman of the Delaware Valley chapter of ANC Global. This is our phase 2 of our membership drive. You are welcome to ask a question. And if you feel passionate about changing Liberia, do not hesitate. Come on board. Alexander B. Cummings Jr. He is the one to lead Liberia to noble destiny. Join the crew, join the team. Don't sit by. Liberia need every Liberian far and near for the change that comes.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I think many people have said it, and I will add my voice to this. I met Obama here last time, had a lifetime of meeting. I was trying to assist him somewhere at the time. The church, when I was in the church there, he was the moderator, and I just portrayed it. But one of the reasons why I think Cummings is the best person to be president, I'm not a politician. I never liked politics. But the reason why I gave my support to Lrtn Cummings is number one, when you look at Coca-Cola, Coca-Cola is one of the leading companies in the world.
company in the world, Coca-Cola. And if Cummins or Liberian can be the vice president for Coca-Cola world, then the guy is competent to be president for a land that is about 43,000 square miles and less than 4,000 people. I mean, 4 million people rather. But let's look at something here. The point that my sister over there struck cleverly when it comes to Liberian people going to Liberia and stealing, they go to Liberia for their own enjoyment, for their own aggrandizement politically and economically. First of all, the Liberian legislature, we blame most of the people who become president in Liberia, but the legislature is the one that killed the country. The legislature. There is something called vetting in our constitution. You got to vet anybody that's going to be, if a Balu going to be the president or spokesperson, he has to be vetted. What school he went to, a money, a party, how many jobs he has done in a lifetime, and all of those things come into play. But don't do it. You know, I listened to the Eugene Facon or confirmation when for the Ministry of Information, when I was in Liberia, for the Ministry of Information, before, because the position that Eugene Facon is holding now is the position that Johnny Mahoney has. You know that about it. So if somebody going to be in that position, they gotta be vetted very well. Liberian people don't vet. We have to vet. My sister talked about people living from here and stealing. How can you be working in Groom and go to Liberia and become a minister? You're making $7 an hour in a Groom. You gotta work overtime so that the money can go up. And then Ellen takes you from here and makes you a minister. What do you think you're gonna do? You're gonna line your pocket. And during the Ellen time, there was no room to the game. There was no room. Because I knew people in this country who Ellen would send money to certain people and they come and pick it up because she didn't want her character to be outrageous. I got evidence in here. This is not a joke. Why thousands of people struggle and die of hunger, and little 10 years old baby have a prostitute in the street, girls have a prostitute before they can put food on the table for their family. So we can sit here and discuss it all night. Ain't gonna help us. So those of you that are hearing my voice, those of you that are listening to me, good talk.
Well,
my name is Eric Arce. I sat quietly and listened. For me personally, the reason I think Alex is the rightful person for Liberia is about his track record. In most cases in Liberia, we don't follow the track record of the individual. But when you Google Alexander Lieutenant Cummings is there. I think we have to use this to our advantage to sell the man to the Liberian people based on his record. Speaker before me said it clearly. See, Liberia, if you believe, honestly don't celebrate the good. Always celebrate the wrong people in Nigeria. It's a small country called Sierra Leone. Have a gentleman who has served a major company in the world. Because if you go to any villages in the world, you see people with a battle lane somewhere. To me, I think we need to be celebrated. But we refuse to do that. You go to Liberia, you tell the people in Liberia, say, oh, you see the person they bring in, and you go to that factory. Because the people don't know what Coca-Cola is except for the Coca-Cola factory in Liberia. That's the other way to try to downplay a well-seasoned person in my view. So our job is go to Liberia, make sure people in Liberia to understand. Go to the factory that over there, that's not what we're talking about. We're talking about a man that deliver Coca-Cola industry in Africa. Took him from Africa, brought him over, and make him executive vice president. I'm not really sure, I stand to be corrected. I think he is the first, if not African, but maybe the first black to have ever served on that level. He's a Liberian. I mean, what is better than that? We're talking about all the economic problems in Liberia today. This is what a man lives and breathes. So, I know we have more to say, but for me, I never wanted to my life in Liberia, and I've always refused to join a party. 4 years ago, somebody sent me an email saying, check out the and when I did that, I knew exactly this is not a mistake. Thank you. Any females? You don't want to talk?
Oh, anything, general topics about Liberia. Mostly Mr. Cummings.
You don't have, I don't want to understand. Leave. Leave my house. And don't ever come back here. Ruben, how could you do this to me? Huh? You mean all this time we've been together? All this time? And you didn't tell me you was married? you gotten a call saying that your friend is missing?
Yes.
And when was this that she had called you?
I spoke to her last week Tuesday,
At what time?
7 p.m.
Did you know where she was?
Testing.
But you're going to state the reason why, Mr. Cummings, you are live on Facebook, on all social media. Now, give your reason why, Mr. Cummings, you think the best person, your experience in Liberia, whatever it is. It's all yours.
I have put me on the spot, so. Oh, gosh.
Oh, God.
We need people from together.
Yeah. Okay. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. My name is H. Vanja Guy. I believe Cummings is the best person to lead Liberia because he has the intestinal fortitude. I mean, just look at this. The man have led an international company for a lot of years with tremendous success. We want somebody who will bring that same experience to Liberia, who will help us understand. The problem in Liberia is the problem of leadership, and I think Cummings has that leadership ability to move Liberia to where it is now to a higher ground. Thank you.
Hello.
Pick up your shoe before you get struck by the thunders.
Sorry.
You are in the house of Mawu Patopa Osobolisa. There is no fear. So my son, what can I do for you today in my shrine?
Many little islands know plenty. I want for them to be arrested. I want for them to go to jail. I want for them to be deported. I want for plenty bad things to happen to them. I want to hear bad news when they want to get out in the morning. Yeah.
If I'm on the beat, yeah. T12 on the beat. If you want hear my bad news, you and I, yeah. If you want hear my bad news, you and I, yeah, mama. God forbid, Baba thing. God forbid, Baba thing. God forbid, Baba thing, yeah. Baba thing, yeah. God forbid, Baba thing. God forbid, Baba thing. God forbid, Baba thing, yeah. If you don't want to see me, you must close your eyes. Ready the best thing. If you don't want to see me, you must close your eyes. But say, oh mama, enemies of progress, they don't want to see you shine. See you shine, mama. Enemies of progress, they don't want to see you prosper. Prosper, yeah. They want to see you die, then I want to see you shine. They want to see you cry, then I want to see you smile. So like a David, no more boss a David. Every day I David, which cry I David. So like a David, no more boss a David. won't hear my bad news, you and I, yeah, oh. Yeah, oh, yeah. If you won't hear my bad news, you and I, yeah, oh. Yeah, oh, mama. God forbid, Baba thing. God forbid, Baba thing. God forbid, Baba thing, yeah. Baba thing, yeah. God forbid, Baba thing. God forbid, Baba thing. God forbid, Baba thing, yeah. Baba thing, yeah. If you don't want to see me, you must wash your eyes. Ready the best. If you don't want to see me, yeah, you must wash your eyes. Wash it, oh mama. Aye. Be a Bombay, be a Bombay. You can pass my eyes, hey. Ah, any may progress. You can see me, oh. I waiting for you. I Gucci, Prada. Any may. They want scatter man dada. What I'm on carrying, they fella. I look at them on swallow me. Any man all around me, I can't see them all. Yeah. You won't hear say I'm suffering. You won't hear say I'm crying. You won't hear say I'm dying. You and I, yeah. God forbid, you won't hear say I broke. You won't hear say I break down. God forbid, Baba thing. God forbid, Baba thing. God forbid, Baba thing, yeah. Baba thing, yeah. God forbid, Baba thing. God forbid, Baba thing. God forbid, Baba thing, yeah. Now hear you waiting more. Now my bad news you waiting for, yeah. If you won't hear my bad news, you and I, yeah, oh. Yeah, oh, yeah. If you won't hear my bad news, you and I, yeah, oh. Yeah, oh, mama. God forbid, Baba thing. God forbid, Baba thing. God forbid, Baba thing, yeah. Baba thing, yeah. If you don't want to see me, you must wash your eyes. Ready the best. If you don't want to see me, you must wash your eyes. Wash it, oh mama. God forbid, Baba thing. God forbid, Baba thing. God forbid, Baba thing, yeah. Baba thing, yeah. Great cute, Jody Franco, Great Kuna, to Super Brother, DJ D12. They can make it up, they can try it, yeah.
Flex, el music, level a level.
D12 on the beat.
Hold up, calm down. Hold up, calm down. Hold up, calm down. Hold up, calm down. Young and they play. Woman they play.
Good evening, viewers. My name is Euphemian Brown, Lrtn reporter. With me is Mr. Emmanuel Abalo, communications coordinator for the political party ANC, a political party based in Liberia. Welcome to Lrtn, Mr. Abalo.
Thank you.
So, first we're going to discuss ANC on the most basic level, meaning what is ANC about? How are you intending on creating memberships?
Thank you. The ANC is one of several political parties in Liberia. And when you talk about membership, the party is in the process of building up. As you know, we contested the last presidential and general elections. And the lesson we learned from that exercise was that Liberians did not know much about the ANC. The ANC is a new party, is in its infancy stage. And so that kind of gave us the roadmap for building the party, and that's what we've been doing. The party proper is based in Liberia, and ANC Global is the umbrella organization based in the United States. And this umbrella organization is composed of chapters and various auxiliaries that support the ideas, the ideals, and the membership leadership of the ANC. And so what we've been doing is talking to Liberians about the alternative to what we have in Liberia now. We think that Liberia deserves better. We know that we have a winning candidate, and we know that we have to do the hard work to get Liberians to understand and to see who the alternative is. And that alternative is Mr. Alexander B. Cummings. And so we continue to talk to Liberians in all areas, in various parts of the United States, and we'll go wherever. No area is off limits. We don't believe in strongholds because we think that we can make the case to every Liberian wherever they are. And so we're in the building process. The ANC will continue to work to build itself and to give Liberians hope. And we know that we have qualified people, Liberians of all walks of life, to provide a kind of leadership that they deserve.
Thank you for your elaboration. I would also like to know, in the coming election year, Liberians based in the diaspora, are we allowed to go to Liberia to vote? Give you an example. I'm a Liberian, a naturalized U.S. citizen. Would that be a problem in the future?
As the laws stand now, and of course the law is not being enforced to the letter, but we think that Liberians, regardless of whether they took up other citizenship, should be allowed to return home and vote for the country. However, you can see that the discussion underway now is that the legislature, who represent the people, have unilaterally decided that they will discriminate against people who are in the diaspora. And in prior comments, I indicated that Liberians need to exercise and to fight and to do the work to educate ordinary Liberians that, one, that kind of proposal is discriminatory. Liberians of all walks, regardless of whether you're a citizen or not, should be allowed to return home to vote. If the legislature decides that they're going to disenfranchise Liberians in the diaspora, then Liberians should be given due process under the Constitution. We don't see that has happened yet, but we think we have a lot of work to do before the referendum to let Liberians know that regardless of whether you left Liberia, you took up other citizenship, unless due process is afforded you, no legislature under the Constitution has the right to disenfranchise Liberians.
Once again, has one of the opposing parties in Liberia, what are your views? Well, let me rephrase that. Right now, we have so much chaos coming out of Liberia, so much chaos, and one of the chaos that has attracted me is the Justina Taylor case. As an opposing party, where do you stand? How do you intend on making your voice heard?
The situation regarding Justina Taylor and how that impacts political parties in Liberia, it is a very direct line to protecting the rights of every Liberian under the Constitution. And some of those rights include the freedom to express your views without intimidation or harm. And we support the right of every Liberian to responsibly comment on national issues. Specifically with the situation of Justina, as much information as I have, she has offered some very critical views of the government. And she has alleged that she was abducted and she was raped. I don't have the facts per se, but if she is expressing her views on national issues, she should be able to do so and be protected under the Constitution. And as a member of the coalition of opposition political parties, the ANC, subscribes to the fact that all Liberians have a right under the Constitution to express their views without harm. And we will defend that right. As it is a God-given right. Nobody gave us the right to free speech. It is a God-given right, and nobody can take that away from us.
Thank you, Mr. Abalo. Another issue that I have is the closure of the Custis radio station. What are your views on that? Speaking of rights and speaking of freedom of speech, I understand freedom of speech. I've been a journalist for 20 plus years. I'm not that old. I started young. So when we talk about freedom of speech and freedom to walk, freedom to associate, freedom to be a Christian, freedom of religion, now we have a station that has come to being closed. As a Liberian, we're not talking about you being a politician right now. We're talking as a Liberian. What are your views?
I don't speak for the coalition. I speak as a person. And with my history of working for the defense of freedom of speech, the right of association, and things like that, we think that the more diverse views we have in the country is good for representative views on national issues. With what is obtaining regarding Mr. Costa, the coalition has issued a statement, and I will let that statement stand on its own. But as an individual, I think that the more diverse views, the more critical views we have, the result will be a government that is responsive to the needs of the people. And we've had a history of government using extrajudicial means to silence critical views, and that hasn't turned out too well in Liberia. And we think that it will be proper and it will be the right thing to do to allow as many views and to accommodate instances where there may be gaps rather than using heavy-handed tactics to silence the views of people. Because you can see that the ordinary people are now standing up to say, you're taking away our, basic right to freedom of information. You're taking away our right to be able to speak to our government, and say what is on our minds. And for whatever it's worth, just allow people to express themselves. That will take away the kind of tension that builds when people are not able to express themselves. Again, there may be some situations or some instances where The business part or the frequency registration, all of those things may come into play. I don't know the details, but I think that government being what it is, they can accommodate and they can provide, the opportunity for radio stations and the media to regularize if that's the case. But to use extrajudicial mean and heavy-handed tactics to silence radio stations, I don't think that's the way to go.
So I'm just sitting here thinking, as an opposition, what is your take on these issues? What are your next steps to make your voice heard as an opposition? Because we are hearing that the present government is using force in areas that we understand should go through the proper channels, but they're not going through the proper channels. So, and this is where I'm thinking oppositions should come up now and rebut these attitudes, this behavior of the present government. But that's not happening. It just seems like the only time you hear the opposition talking when it's close to election time. But there are issues, if you're for the people, this is when you start acting for the people. But we're not hearing you. And it's not only the ANC. It's so many other oppositions that are quiet. They have gone dormant for whatever reasons. So what I'm thinking now, opposition need to come out and say something. Write a letter. So the same people that you're trying to lead tomorrow, they can see that, okay, when Justina Taylor was going through this, ANC was here for us. But we're not seeing it. When we had this issue, these people stood up for us. So my question to you now, is there anything in place that ANC has decided, or maybe after today I've given you a little idea, that trick or something, that you're going to act for the people?
Let me push back on the premise that the ANC, I can speak a little bit about what the ANC is doing. There's a lot that the ANC is doing. Let me give you a couple of examples. The media in Liberia is made up of radio, television, newspaper, and new media, social media. And in a situation where the ANC wants to get its message out, there's several different platforms we can use. Interviews, presence on social media, and we've been very effective doing those things. You have to also understand that we live in a country, or most Liberians in the rural areas, almost 60 to 80% of the people who live in the rural areas don't have access to social media for obvious reasons. And so the way we can get our message across is from this building that we're doing now, the one-on-one. The party is in the process of building itself in the different counties, county offices, coordinators. But in addition to that, the ANC, as part of the coalition of political parties, is issuing statements. And if need be, it will issue a statement on its own. But a lot of the statements that the ANC is issuing is through the CPP. And because we think that that is the most effective way to get the message across, because the CPP represents a sizable number of the population, we'll continue to work in that mechanism to get our message across. But we also have a social media platform where we get our messages out to Liberians. We're working on developing our own, format for media. All of those things are coming out. Again, when you're in the building process, you have to choose your priorities. So those things are coming out. For example, the fire incident that just happened. The ANC just made a donation to the families. I think that was on social media. The social arm of the ANC has been doing a lot of work, making a donation to the Muslim University in Liberia. Mr. Cummings has a foundation that is involved in water sanitation. They're making a lot of impact. He has a school that he supports. All of these things are out there. I encourage our people to also research what Mr. Cummings is all about, what the ANC is all about. But yeah, I understand that we don't have a radio station now for propagating whatever we need, but we think that the overexposure in the media can also kind of dilute your message. And so we want to be very strategic when it comes to the kind of message that we're getting out to the people.
Thank you. We are about to wrap up, so my last question is, I would like for you to tell the audience and myself, innocent Liberian, what is the ANC platform? Not Cummings' platform, but ANC's platform.
Thank you again. I'd like to thank Lrtn for the opportunity to speak about what the ANC is doing. The platform of the ANC, infrastructure, redevelopment, education, job creation. These are fundamental things that will drive the economy. And we also are very intent on curbing corruption, meaning holding people accountable. The ANC has stated very openly that if and when it comes to power, it will hold people accountable. And I think you heard this evening someone mention what the political leader, Mr. Cummings, has said, that if anybody is looking at getting in government to steal, then you should decide to follow someone else. But the ANC as a political party, we want to be the alternative to governance, good governance. We want to hold people accountable. We want to provide opportunities for people to be able to earn a living. We don't believe that government should be a welfare arm. We don't believe that government should be all things to all people. We think that by empowering people, by creating jobs, by investing in agriculture, by investing in the building of schools and tertiary education, vocational, technical, those things will empower people to be able to fend for themselves. And so the ANC as an alternative, we cannot focus on every issue in Liberia. So we're going to prioritize those things that can empower our people: agriculture, infrastructure development, education, healthcare. Those are the kinds of things that we're hoping to build on.
Thank you for sitting with us this evening, Mr. Abalo.
Thank you. You're welcome to be here.
For Lrtn, this is Euphemia Brown.
D12 on the beat.
All I do is win, 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 win. All I do is win, 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 win. Born to win. I say I was born to win. Born to win. I say I was born to win. All I do is win, 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 win. All I do is win, 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 win. I say I jump over you. The whole you did by me, I jump over it. I say I jump over it. The whole you did by me, I jump over it. They will see it. I said they will, yeah. So you forced to let me. You not let me say you forced to let me. You forced to let me. You not let me say you forced to let me. Jehovah bless you, no man can curse you. When Jehovah bless you, no man can curse you. When I can go here with eat you. And when I feed in here with hurt. When I need to hear with you. Yes, sir. All I do is win, 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 win. All I do is win, 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 win. Born to